There's something unequal in this, isn't there? Tim Owen is described today as the member for Newcastle, and he's before ICAC, who was seeking to perpetuate the view that he may be corrupt. He's actually Air Commodore Timothy Owen, a distinguished servant of, for many years, the nation's defence strategy. He retired from defence service after being the Deputy Commander of Australian forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was then persuaded to stand for the Liberal Party at the last state election at a seat that Labor had held for 81 of 84 years, and he won it. And now the man's got to cop this rubbish. There's no way in the world this man, I'm telling you, is corrupt. There's something seriously wrong with this legislation about developer money. Seriously wrong. But where does that stand in the scheme of Australian politics? When there was a Queensland election in 2011 in which every person in a position of leadership in the Newman government said there'd be no Acland Stage 3. 6 months after the state election, New Hope suddenly put in a supplementary environmental impact statement to the Queensland government, November 9, 2011. How? Well, now we learn that Sini, the Deputy Premier, had held several private meetings. I mean, you're thinking about Tim Owen and ICAC? Several private meetings with New Hope mine officials. Mind you, $700,000 to, I suppose, the election campaign. It would help get a meeting, wouldn't it? That's what New Hope have tipped in, $700,000. But here is Senior Deputy Premier, had private meetings with the New Hope mine officials with no other local MPs in attendance. None. Private meetings. The Minister, the miners. This is the invasion I'm telling you about. That we're wanting to have a discussion about corruption. 3 and 4 months later, we find there are going to be range upgrades at Toowoomba. The flooding repairs. Hang on. The public was told the range repairs following the 2012 flood were completed in September. All that money in 2011 flood were completed in September. All that money was spent. We were told the range repairs were done. But then an announcement said flood repairs need to be done to stop rocks and trees falling. Made by Trevor Watts, not much between the ears, on March 6th last year. 4 months later, there was no flood repair. That had already been completed and reported in the Toowoomba Chronicle in September 2011. This was a range being rebuilt to change the downward lanes to take B-triple coal trucks, 100 tonnes each, all for Seni's mining mates. And we're talking about ICAC. It was always one big plan to benefit New Hope and the mining mates of the Newman government. Where does this end? Our sovereign rights have been given away to foreign mining companies. Our farmland is given away to any farmer who wants to buy it. They refuse to save 40% of our restricted army airspace, and they give it to a rich developer, Wagner. They do nothing to slow down the Chinese buying all our real estate. And now, of course, we've got the Abbott government backing off on 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act to keep a few Islamic militants off their back. Has the nation lost its spine? What I'm saying is this, and it's a particular case. Tim Owen, a distinguished Australian in New South Wales, and they're saying, well, brown paper bags about Tim Owen. In Queensland, we're all Australians. Seni's mates have secretly used all the taxpayers' money in the flood reconstruction of the Toowoomba Range. Dr. Alex Douglas, the man who left the coalition, but he's in the Queensland Parliament, has accused the whole lot of them of being involved in a massive cover-up. All the money was spent on a new range crossing, federal and state money, your money, so that New Hope Coal could take the coal through Toowoomba that they can't get out on rail. And Toowoomba people know they'll be filling up James Street with massive 100-tonne B-triples all the way to Brisbane. And of course, they didn't tell the poor, long-suffering Toowoomba public. And I'm told by people on the inside they were already trialling the B-triple trucks from Toowoomba to Brisbane at night when no one can see them. But New Hope Coal gave $700,000 to the Liberal National Party. They paid the absolute minimum of royalties. So then after claiming Stage 3 would never happen, Seni is the man behind making it happen. He had at least 3 private meetings with Mr. Milner's mine people, New Hope, nobody else there. And then all of a sudden the mine Stage 3 is back on just like that. And the only people who are really going to suffer are the poor beleaguered people of Toowoomba and the Darling Downs. And Tim Owen, a distinguished Australian, is being made to answer as to who funded his political campaign. There is something seriously wrong with politics in this country.